Imagine this: Australia's rugby team heads into a crucial test match without their star players, facing a fully loaded England squad, yet their coach insists it's not a setback, it's a golden opportunity. Rugby fans, buckle up, because this matchup between the Wallabies and England at Twickenham is sparking heated debates about fairness, player availability, and what truly makes of a real test match. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this even an official international clash with World Rugby ranking points on the line, or just a glorified club game? Let's dive in and unpack it all, step by step, so everyone, whether you're a die-hard rugby enthusiast or just getting into the sport, can follow along easily. Australia's head coach, Joe Schmidt, is taking a remarkably positive stance despite the odds seeming stacked against his side. The Wallabies are missing key overseas-based talents like John Eel's medal winner Len Ikitau, due to the match falling outside World Rugby's designated international window, a rule that limits clubs to releasing players for global fixtures to just 3 weeks a year. This aims to balance club and international rugby commitments, preventing burnout and ensuring clubs maintain their competitive edge. For beginners, think of it like a timeout period in a busy schedule. Players can't just drop everything for national duty anytime outside that window. Meanwhile, England are trotting out their full A team on Saturday, thanks to a special deal between their Rugby Football Union, RFU, and the Domestic Premiership League. This allows them to include players like Exeter's Tom Hooper and Leicester's James O'Connor, who are playing for England but couldn't suit up for Australia because their clubs, Ikitau's Exeter and O'Connor's Leicester, are in the same league. That creates an uneven playing field, with 4 of England's 23 players coming straight from the Premiership, raising eyebrows among critics. And this is the part most people miss: the imbalance has led to calls questioning the game's legitimacy. Former Wales and British and Irish Lions standout Dan Biggar voiced his frustration in the Daily Mail, labeling it a slightly devalued test. He puzzled over why it still awards World Rugby ranking points, which directly impact the draw for the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Imagine if a league game started counting towards your country's Olympic qualification. Sounds unfair, right? Biggar's not alone. Many argue this setup undermines the purity of international rugby, potentially favoring teams with better domestic arrangements. But Schmidt, ever the optimist, waved off any complaints during the team announcement on Thursday. "We always try to favor home-based players anyway," he said, emphasizing that this isn't a distraction, it's a chance to shine. He likened it to a card game. You often get dealt a set of cards, and while you may shuffle the deck a little or try to steal a card from somewhere else, if those cards aren't available, you shuffle what you've got and put out your best hand. In other words, the Wallabies are adapting with who they have, believing they can still pose a real challenge to England's powerhouse. For newcomers to rugby, this highlights how coaches build versatility, much like a football manager rotating players to keep everyone sharp for bigger battles. When asked if Rugby Australia could simply pay to free up the overseas players, Schmidt was clear: no, that's not feasible. While Premiership clubs receive compensation from the RFU for releasing players, strict boundaries exist for international releases, especially for foreign players, to protect club interests and avoid financial favoritism. Still, Schmidt couldn't help but fire a playful jab at England's Steve Borthwick, who had claimed Australia held an edge due to longer team bonding time. "We've had 2 sessions, actually," Schmidt chuckled, pointing out their recent grueling schedule. Fresh off a series in Japan with 13 changes, they've played 15 tests across 22 weeks, spanning 9 countries and 10 time zones. "That kind of travel and fatigue can wear a team down," he noted, suggesting he'd gladly trade it for Borthwick's 4 training sessions. It's a great reminder of how international rugby's demands, jet lag, injuries, and constant roster shifts, test a team's resilience. On the squad front, Tane Edmed is stepping up as the Wallabies playmaker once more, with Carter Gordon's return from the NRL still on hold despite a positive training session where he reintegrated well. Schmidt confirmed Gordon, who had an injury scare, will be ready for the upcoming tests against Italy, Ireland, and France. After a gritty victory over Japan with a mostly backup team, Schmidt's top players are mostly back in the fold. Tight head prop Taniela Tupou returns to the starting lineup, while captain Harry Wilson shifts to number 8 in a formidable back row alongside Rob Valaini and Fraser McReight. Waratah's duo Jake Gordon and Edmed anchor the halves for the 3rd consecutive test, and the back line includes Twickenham heroes from last year, Joseph Akuso Swalii and Max Jorgensen. Here's the full Wallabies team to face England. Andrew Kellaway, Max Jorgensen, Joseph Akuso Swalii, Hunter Paisami, Harry Potter, Tane Edmed, Jake Gordon, Harry Wilson, Fraser McRate, Rob Valaini, Jeremy Williams, Nick Frost, Taniela Tupou, Billy Pollard, Angus Bell. Replacements: Josh Nasser, Tom Robertson, Alan Alalatoa, Lakan Salakaialoto, Nick Champion de Crespigny, Ryan Lonergan, Hamish Stewart, Filippo Dagunu. So, what's your take? Do you side with critics like Dan Bigger, arguing this match shouldn't count toward World Cup rankings? Or do you admire Schmidt's glass-half-full attitude, seeing it as a test of adaptability? Is this a sign of rugby's evolving landscape, or a flaw that needs fixing? Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's debate.